Thanks for joining me again. Do you want healthy organs? I'm talking about physical health today. As part of my management training as a school teacher, I was allowed to spend 2 weeks in a city hospital observing how the staff ran the hospital. I had some amazing memories there, very amusing memories, which I can't share with you on this video, but I was able to go into the surgical block. And one of the memories I can share is that I saw a lady's stomach removed because it was cancerous. She was opened up completely and I saw all the organs inside her body, how they fulfilled their functions. Just one organ, cancer in the stomach, and she was sick. Her whole body was affected because of the dysfunctionment of one organ. Now, when God brought the Jews out of Egypt to make their long journey through the desert to the promised land, he needed to reveal to them a new name. They knew him as Elohim, God of creation, and Moses knew him as Jehovah from Exodus 3, verse 14. But what they needed in the desert was water, food, protection from snake bites and disease. There were no shops and no pharmacies. So they needed medical help, somebody who knew how to fix them if they got sick. Now, the Lord made, therefore, a statute with them and said, this is in Exodus 15, verse 25 and 26, he said, saying, if you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, and will listen and obey his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases upon you which I brought upon the Egyptians. Now here's the new name. For I am the Lord who heals you. Now in the Hebrew that is Jehovah Rophe. R-O-P-H-E. In Psalm 105 verse 37 we find that every Jewish person in that 40-year trip was healthy. There was not one feeble person amongst their tribes. Now, when Jesus came to the earth and started his ministry, he soon demonstrated his intention and ability to heal. He had not yet been beaten on his back and carried in his stripes in our wounds and our infirmities. He hadn't done that yet. But based upon the prophecy of Isaiah 53 verse 4, he did it. He was able to move on the authority of that prophecy. And he opened blind eyes, an eye is an organ, deaf ears, and ear is an organ, made the lame to walk, cleansed lepers, and raised the dead. He then sent out his disciples to heal the sick, cast out demons, raise the dead, and so on. The 12 disciples were equipped and authorized to do this. In Luke 9 verse 1, he said that he's told them, I give you power, dunamis, and authority, exousia, over all devils and to cure diseases. All devils. Power, dunamis, over all devils. Authority over all diseases. Now, that was to his disciples. Now, in the Great Commission, he sent all believers to preach the gospel. He said in Matthew 18, all authority is given to me. Go ye, therefore, and make disciples of all nations. As Christians, we are expected to do greater works than Christ himself. That's John 14 and verse 12. Now, obviously, Jesus healed body organs. So we should heal body organs. Body organs are made of flesh. Now, I found this wonderful backup for this teaching, which is in an unusual place, in the prayer that Jesus made in John 17. Now, remember that whole chapter is Jesus' prayer. Now, in verse 2, I found this little gem. Father granted Jesus power and authority over all flesh. As you realise that organs, any organ is made of flesh. So the Father granted Jesus authority, power and authority over all flesh. In 1 John 4:17, the Apostle John wrote this: as he is, so are we in this world. So guess what? We have authority over all flesh, over all organs. Now that changed my outlook on my own body. From time to time, I've had problems with certain organs, and I don't put it down to getting old. I'm not getting old. God renews my youth like the eagle. So I do not accept an organ in my body not to work healthily. I don't accept it. And in the last few days, I have used my godly authority to command complete healing or replacement to certain body organs in both myself and in my wife. In 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 4, it says that because I'm her husband, I have authority over her flesh. Now that's great. Now this was even better illustrated to me a couple of nights ago. A neighbour rang my bell. She rang my bell and said, "Can you come and see my husband?" This is just a nearby neighbour. And they don't know me, but they know I'm a pastor. So they called me, and she said, "My husband's back is blocked. He can't move, and we're moving house. We've got to drive the other side of the country." So I went over, and there was this man on his bed in complete agony. He showed me where the pain was, and I touched his back and commanded those muscles. Muscles are organs. I commanded those muscles to be healed. They are now on their way across country to their new home. He's been able to drive. It took him a few more hours for the symptoms to completely subside, but he's well, and my wife even took a photo film of him driving. So I encourage you to use this godly authority. Don't just excuse your body and say, "Oh, well, it's getting old." Moses at 120 had all his natural force. Deuteronomy 34 and verse 7. Climbed up a very high mountain, Mount Nebo, to look at the promised land. So be determined to live long and to live strong and keep those body organs functioning by the command of your mouth. Amen.